The media just reports what happens. That's its job.
In 2026, 7 families and companies control more than half of all online news that Americans read. One owns Fox News, one owns the Wall Street Journal, one owns the New York Times, and they decide what is news before you open your eyes in the morning.
7. That's it?
7 out of 330 million people. And the number keeps shrinking. In 1983, 50 companies controlled US media. By 2011, it was 20, and today it is 7.
But they compete with each other, so we still get different views.
Same owner, different channels. One billionaire family, the Murdochs, owns Fox News, the Wall Street Journal, and the New York Post at the same time. And during the Iraq War, every single Murdoch outlet across the world supported the invasion, every one, in the same week.
That could be a coincidence.
Every editor at every outlet in every country reached the same conclusion at the same time, without being told.
So, how does control work without anyone being told?
You don't hire people who disagree with you, you hire people who already think like you, and then you leave them alone. The control happens before the first word is written.
But journalists have freedom. They choose their stories.
They choose from a list that was already filtered. An editor picks which stories survive. That editor was hired by a manager, and that manager reports to an owner. The story that threatens the owner's business rarely makes the list.
What about countries with state media? That's more obvious control.
Russia passed a law making it illegal to call the Ukraine war a war, and journalists who used that word faced jail. Within weeks, most independent news outlets had shut down or left the country, and state TV became the only source for most people.
That's extreme. That's not the West.
China built what is now called the Great Firewall. It doesn't ban everything, it just makes certain content slower to load, harder to find, and more frustrating to reach, and people stop looking, not because they were stopped, but because it felt too difficult. Censorship through friction, no laws needed.
And in the West?
Hungary didn't shut down free media, it used tax rules, ad spending, and legal pressure to make independent news too expensive to run, then bought the outlets through connected business owners, and within a few years the media landscape had changed without a single dramatic moment anyone could point to.
So control doesn't have to be obvious.
The most powerful form of control is the kind that feels like normal business, that feels like editors just doing their jobs, that feels like the algorithm just showing you what you like.
The algorithm.
Your phone already knows what keeps you watching. Anger keeps you watching longer than calm, fear keeps you watching longer than facts, and the platforms are built to show you more of what you react to, not more of what is true. The media learns to feed the machine.
So the algorithm shapes everything we see.
In 2026, more than half of Americans get their news through a phone or screen, more than TV, radio, and print combined. And the editor of what you read is not a person, it is software built to sell your attention to advertisers, with truth nowhere in the calculation.
That sounds like no one is really in charge.
Someone is always in charge. Whoever built the software decides what the software values, whoever owns the platform decides what the rules are, and whoever funds the media decides what stories are safe to tell.
Can we trust anything?
You can ask 3 questions about anything you read: who owns this outlet, who funds it, and what they are not covering. The answers tell you more than the story itself.
Most people don't ask those questions.
Most people were never taught to. Schools teach you to read, but not to ask who wrote it, who paid for it, and what they left out.
This was their plan?
A person who questions what they read is harder to sell things to, harder to frighten, and harder to lead. But a person who accepts what they read without asking is the ideal audience, for media, for governments, for anyone who needs a crowd that doesn't look too closely.
So the goal is to keep us from looking closely.
The goal is to make not looking feel like a choice you made yourself.